everybody, Melissa here with you from Clique Kits design team for a locker room post, and I wanted to do just a quick little intro here. This is like a pile of all my scraps from the June Aquarelle Kit. So beautiful. I still have some other full sheets of paper, but okay, minus the scissors. This is all scraps, like the carnage from all the other cards that I made. And so when I think of locker room, I think of like halftime at a game, and we were in this first home stretch and doing great, and that's where I was at. And then now I have this card that I need to make, and I'm losing steam. So I thought I would do just this quick little locker room pep talk with all of you. It's the end of June now. You're seeing posts about our July kit that is beautiful, but if you're anything like me, you've got all these scraps going on here. And so I am going to do a video here in just a second. It's going to switch over to my usual super fast, not super fast, but sped up, much more time condensed video. So this one might be just a little bit longer because I do tend to babble, and I'm live right now, so my apologies. Not really. I don't really care. But anyway, that's not very professional of me. I'm so sorry. So I just want to encourage you to dig into those scraps. Do not put these away in a bag and then 3 years later you're cleaning out your stash and going, oh my goodness, I forgot about that collection. How did I let that sit there for 3 long years? No, no, no. Pull them out. We're going to do this together. We're going to pull them out. We're going to make some cards together. Even if you're a layout maker, I want you to think about making a card, because we all need cards, and the ones that we make are handmade and beautiful, and nobody else is ever going to find one like yours. And if you want to copy what I do, please do. I'm so flattered if you do. But let's make some cards together, okay? So that's our locker room pep talk. We're going to be using up our scraps, using up all these little things that didn't get put on another project, because we do not want to let this kit go to waste, and we want to end the month strong before we dive into the July kit. All right, you with me? All right, here we go. All right, so let's get started here. I like to score my entire card stock before I trim it into the 4 1/4, actually it'd be 8.5 by 5.5. And then the first thing that I did was score the paper. So you'll also notice that there's some splatter on these cardstock bases, and I just did that at first. Not quite sure what I wanted to do. I feel like a little ink splatter on cards just helps just give it that final touch. But as you see with this first card, the cardstock covers it right up, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter to me. And then realizing that the card was going to be too big to do a landscape, I ended up doing it portrait. So still, once I put on the base, all the pattern papers and that card for the sentiment, it's going to cover it up. So these are just strips of paper that I had left over from layouts and a couple of cards that I had made. The exact measurements I'm not sure of because they were just scraps and they fit well on the card. So don't really have that for you, but just wanted you to see what you can do with scraps. I stitched on this card just to create some texture and fun to it. It is 3 by 4 and it's part of one of the 12 by 12 sheets of paper. I like using those cards sometimes because the verbiage on it is perfect for the sentiment of a card, and I really like this one. And I'm going to be going to a birthday party soon, and I thought it would be perfect for her card. The Wild at Heart there is actually the name of the collection by Coco Vanilla Studio. And I like that. I like the font, and I like what it says, and I thought it would go perfect with this card sentiment. So you can feel free to do that as well. Use up all your scraps. These are just some leftover flower embellishments that I had, and of course, perfect for cards. Love using them for cards. adds the perfect embellishment. So using my mono adhesive there to glue on the smaller things. Normally I use my Tombow runner for my card papers, but I couldn't find it. It's probably hiding under something, so I'm using my ATG. Those pink handled scissors are from American Crafts, and my cutting mat is from We Are Memory Keepers. And now I'm pulling out some of those adorable resin stars that are in this June kit and placing them around this card, which I thought would go perfect because of the word sparkle. Have to have stars on a card for sparkle. And the blue here, I like how they're a little bit clear and they look perfect on this part of the card, creating a visual triangle with them, using glossy accents to stick them down. Wasn't sure if I wanted one there or not, didn't like it, so I left it alone. Now I'm moving on to the next card, which is going to end up being a landscape orientation. And once again, I'm using strips of paper that were left over, and that circle of the vellum paper, I think I was trying out something with another project and didn't like it. So I was going to try it out on a card. I ended up liking it, so I'm going to use it for this card here. You'll also notice that some of those strips don't quite fit all the way across, and that's okay. That frame is actually from the ephemera pack from the Wild at Heart collection, and it's also included in the kit. And what I did is I used glossy accents to adhere the sequins around the frame. Wasn't quite sure how it was going to end up, if I was going to like it. It was definitely an experiment. I was watching Moana while I did it, and the movie was great, and I'm actually quite loving the way that that frame turned out. So we'll be using that on this card as well. And now I'm just layering all these little bits, using them up on this card, having a good time, and some of the ink splatters showing through on this particular card makes it fun. Using my liquid adhesive again to put this one down, especially with all those sequins on there. That would have been really hard to use a tape runner on. Stick that down, and then I will be pulling from my ephemera pack again here. Just experimenting with different things, seeing how it looks. I wasn't quite sure what the sentiment was going to be for this one. I had an idea of what I wanted to use. I like the way the beautiful you, that navy blue, I like the way it looks up on top of everything else. And now I'm just digging around for some other things. I experimented with that. So why not make it a really girly card? Beautiful you, hello. I think that goes really great with the sparkles. I'm kind of a symbolic creator, so I like to incorporate a little bit of that. This arrow here, at first I was just going to stick it on that sequin, but I did not like that puddle of glossy accents in there. I wasn't really thinking when I did that. So I grabbed a heart from the ephemera pack, and I'm going to use some glue dots to stick that down, and then the arrow will go right on top of that. And I actually really like that better. It helped set the arrow apart and bring some cohesion to the design there. And also helps break up the frame a little bit, because all those sequins in person, it can be a little bit overwhelming. And now I felt like something was missing. It just needed something else above the beautiful you. I wasn't quite sure what, so I'm experimenting with some more of those, the stars. Didn't like that, and dug around in the ephemera pack and finally found this little, another little strip that said "So Lovely." So I'm going to stick that on. So lovely, beautiful you, hello. Isn't that a great card to give to a girlfriend or something, like a good friend? Just let her know that she's beautiful and you're thinking about her. And at this point, I'm showing you the cards, and I realized, oops, I forgot to trim off the edge of the paper. So I'm doing that, and then there's also a little runaway sequin there, so bopping that off of there. I actually added, ta-da, I actually added to the sequin frame card a star. I felt when I held it up, it was missing something, and you can see, I really feel like that completes that card. And love the stitching on this next one here. So that's it. Those are the two cards. I'm going to leave you with some links, and thanks so much for watching.